The NEXTEL All-Star Challenge is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, proud sponsors of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the number 8 car. Johnsonville trivia. You already know this, so we'll tell you the answer right away. Only 2 drivers have won the All-Star Challenge from the pole. Dale Earnhardt and Davey Allison, who did it twice. And that first time under the lights that was my most exciting memory in the whole history of All-Star races. It was right here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. And Davey Allison had to fight off first Alan Kawicki and then Dale Earnhardt, and then get Kyle Petty, and here they come.
But it started right here, Mike. Right here when Kyle Petty got into Dale Earnhardt, shoved him up the racetrack, wrecked him. Now Kyle says, okay, I got it made. I'm on my way to victory lane. But he forgot about he lost a little momentum, opened the door for Davey. Davey gets to run on the inside, Kyle says, daggone it, I missed one.
Allison hit the wall hard, went to the care center instead of victory lane. And when he woke up, he asked Robert Yates and Larry, did we win?
I was in the ambulance with him, and even though he was hurt, that's all he wanted to know. Did I win? And I said, yes, you did. Remember, then it only paid a third of what it pays now.
Remember, then we had special cars, special engines, special everything. Now you just have disposable cars.
Here is the NEXTEL starting grid for tonight's All-Star Challenge. The first 3 drivers, Newman, Martin, and Rusty Wallace, are all past winners of the All-Star race. Sadler in a Ford, Casey Kane, who just barely made it in, squeaked in with his win last Saturday night at Richmond. Jimmy Johnson, who's banked the $1 million here. Carl Edwards, rookie in this race. And Kurt Busch, who's been second. Joe Nemechek, Matt Kenseth, who banked the $1 million last year. Greg Biffle, right now arguably the hottest driver on the tour. And patient, steady Bobby Labonte, and his older brother Terry, who's been in all but one of these All-Star events. Jeff Gordon's won 3 of them. Jeremy Mayfield and Michael Waltrip, who's also a past winner. Tony Stewart, coming from deep in the field with Kevin Harvick, Dale Jarrett, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. And then from the open, Vickers and Truex.
You've got to be aggressive, but you also got to remember, don't wreck this thing until I get to the end where the $1 million is. Don't take yourself out in one of these early segments.
Now the rules are just like any cup race, except for these. 30 or 90 laps total, mandatory green flag pit stop. At a certain point in the first segment, there's a 3-lap window when you have to pit. There will be an inversion. It might be 6, it might be 12 drivers or somewhere in the middle. No elimination, that's been done away with. And all restarts, like in the open, double file. First place next to second place, third place next to fourth place, and so on.
And that's going to play a key role on these restarts, with the outside of turns 1 to 2 being the place to be.
And you know what? Here's the weather. Heck with it. All I know is it's just hot out there, and we're going racing. It doesn't matter how hot or cold it is.
You've turned off the Weather Channel. I love it. Everybody's on their feet, up here, down there, in the infield. And you at home, I hope, because it's time.
DW, full moon, 90 laps, both hands and feet up on that steering wheel. $1 million, baby. Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
All right, all right. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's definitely go racing, boys.
Good clean start with Newman well out front.
We saw last night in qualifying, and I'm sure we're going to see the same thing tonight. Over 190 miles per hour off into these corners at the end of these straightaways.
And Larry, I think you'll see these guys pretty much fighting for the bottom in turn 3 and 4. But I think turns 1 and 2, you're going to see them continue to move up all night long. And when you get way up high there, like
that was Michael.
Michael did it. I think he got it up against the fence.
Michael Waltrip, the 15 car.
Seemed to run out of grip when you get all the way to the top.
He and Dale Jr. still deep in this field as the laps begin to unwind.
There's a hole behind him, Junior. Hole behind him.
They're running laps in the low 29-second bracket right now. That's flirting with the old track record.
Yeah, that's qualifying speed.
Yes, sir.
And here we are racing away. I believe this tire that we have here this weekend will be a long-run tire. I believe you'll run faster and faster as you go into these runs.
Greg Biffle, man on the move as we watch Stewart, Kenseth, and Harvick battle. Biffle and Jeff Gordon going at it.
Now you watch him go down into turn one, and boy, Jeff's car bottomed out big time and took Biffle to the top.
9th place at stake here.
Yeah, Gordon, you know, we'll see cars bottoming out, but he bottomed up so bad it shot him up the racetrack.
Yeah, that's dragging right there. That wasn't bottom, that's just dragging.
Here comes Harvick underneath Matt Kenseth for 13th place. That's Terry Labonte in the 44.
So you can get the run off of turn 4 down low down there, but it's not exactly that way off of turn 2.
3rd place packed pretty tightly into turn 1. Sadler, Kane, and Mark Martin.
Mark ran more laps than anyone in the hour-and-a-half practice yesterday. The only practice these cars got, it looks like it's paying off right here.
Martin has the bottom, and he's going to have 4th place exiting turn 4.
He just turned to the bottom, managed the throttle, and won the battle off turn 4 against Casey Kane in the 9. Darrell, we're a third of the way through this season. It looks like these Dodge Chargers, they are getting their act together, because right now we have 3 in the top 5 and 2 running 1 and 2.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of unusual when you see Ryan Newman and Rusty Wallace running 1st and 2nd.
Joe Nemechek in the 01 car battling Jeff Gordon in the 24. That's a battle for 10th.
Yeah, I believe you're going to have to work on Jeff's car. That bottoming out was pretty darn serious that he had down in turn 1.
And right behind them, the biggest mover of the race is number 20, Tony Stewart. He started 17th. He's come to 12th, knocking on the door of top 10 here.
And just remember, in qualifying last night, it involved a 4-tire stop, and Tony Stewart actually spun coming on the pit road. He's got a good race car.
Steve?
Mike, he's in a brand new race car, never been on the racetrack before in race conditions. Tony just told crew chief Greg Zipadelli his car is just a little bit tight in the center when he's on the throttle.
There's a look at Greg. Let's check with Jeff.
Guys, looking at Greg Zipadelli in the 20 car of Tony Stewart. Got a chance to talk to him this afternoon. They made a lot of changes this number 20 car, and as Steve said, it's a brand new piece, and they're doing like a test on it right now. But he told me, hey, if all these changes picks us up about a 10th, we'll be able to lap the field tonight. So they got a pretty strong horse right now.
Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car just drove by Matt Kenseth in the 17. That was the 14th position. But the biggest thing is right now we're about 6 to 7 laps away from that 4-tire green flag stop.
Elliott Sadler had a run off turn 2, but chose not to make the move on Rusty Wallace, but Wallace is going to leave the bottom open.
Yeah, and down here off of turn 4, I just believe that bottom is a place to be. As you can see, the 38 car Elliott Sadler, he gets a good run off of there, and he's going to make the pass. Now you get down here, now watch where he is. He's kind of middle of the track.
14th on back. Michael Waltrip, Matt Kenseth in the 17, Terry Labonte, Ryan Vickers, and there you see Jimmy Johnson working Casey Kane. Johnson has just moved into 5th.
Well, it just seems like, Larry, that some of these guys have figured this track out with this levitating that they've done to it. But it doesn't seem like everybody has.
And just to go with a simple term, they ground the racetrack. They smoothed it out a little bit.
Boy, look right there, just running along behind Rusty. Pretty neat to see Rusty and Martin right up here in the front of this deal. Their last probably all-star race they'll be in. They're running 3rd and 4th. And Dick, what's Rusty saying?
Rusty's saying his car is a bit tight in turns 3 and 4, a bit loose in turn 1. But I'll say to you, Darrell, that I've been watching Rusty follow his career for virtually the entire duration of it. I have never seen him more confident before the start of a race than I saw him tonight. He really believes he can win this thing.
Well, he's running 3rd right now, and that's an interesting place to be because there will be an invert after this segment. If they invert only 6, he only moves from 3rd to 4th. If they invert more, of course, he'll go further back. But I'm not sure I'd want to be Ryan Newman and lead every lap of this segment because I would know I'm going to restart somewhere back there.
But just remember, that was lap 13. In the next 2 laps, we're going to see green flag stop for 4 tires. We already know how many teams have been penalized this year for speeding on pit road. You can't have any mistakes on this pit stop, not by the driver or by the crew.
And don't forget, I mean, they're not running for just practice right now. There is money at stake here. And here comes, is that the 38?
Elliott Sadler, the 38 car. He's going to come to pit road. Jimmy Johnson in the 48. Casey Kane in the 9. Greg Biffle in the 16. Looks like about half of these 22 cars are going to make this stop. The rest of them will be on pit road the next lap. Jeremy Mayfield made a mistake. He did not make the commit line. Had to go back out on the racetrack.
Tony Stewart's in. Nemechek as well. Bobby Labonte. Here's Steve.
Tony's saying his car is still a little bit tight. They've already made an air pressure adjustment. They'll also make a wedge adjustment. Ira Joe Hussey, Todd Foster on the tires. Jackman, Todd Foster, Matt.
Rodney Rhodes, the gas man, already made the wedge adjustment, a track bar adjustment also for Casey Kane in the 9. He faded back to 6. The car sliding the nose, would not turn. The 48 is already away, as well as Biffle. A long stop for Casey Kane in the 9. And meanwhile, the 12 car, Ryan Newman, makes his way to his pit stall. The car was neutral, just a slick on the tight side. No adjustments expected for Ryan Newman. Good stop so far, already around the left side, waiting on the front changer. The rear already on. And he is away.
But it looks like his teammate, Rusty Wallace, in the 2, he's going to win the battle off pit road. But here comes Elliott Sadler in the 38, who pitted that first lap. There was no strategy there now. It had to be a 4-tire stop per the rules.
Just a window, 14 to 16, and Elliott came on the first lap. First time the pit was open for this pit stop. I think that's going to play to his favor.
He's going to blow by Rusty Wallace in the 2 car going into turn 3, and Elliott will take the lead from Rusty. But what's going on with Rusty, Dick?
Oh, he had a really nice pit stop. Crew delighted after it was all done, high-fiving each other. This was just what they wanted, a quick one, and they got it.
I think the money spot here is 6th. Because from 6th, you could restart on the pole with a low draw. You could start no worse than 6th or 7th if they invert 12. And right now, that 6th place driver, Ryan Newman.
Ryan Newman. He lost a lot of positions on that pit stop. Could be a method to the madness.
It's not going to hurt him. I'll be darned. Let's have a look at Jeremy Mayfield and see what happened to the Dodge driver trying to come onto pit road.
Now those cones right there, you have to be on the inside of those cones to come to pit road. Jeremy Mayfield saw that he was not going to make it, so he had to come back on the racetrack, but it cost him a lot of time because now he's dead last in 22nd. And the leaders are not far behind him.
Elliott Sadler's the leader. So Ryan Newman leads every lap, pits, and comes out in the money position. How does he do that?
I think he's smart.